Hey everyone, what's going on? This is our Audiojack.
Hello, everyone. Little delayed reaction there. See, I blew my big break.
Hey everyone, what's going on? Hey everyone, what's going on? Audiojack for another week, and I'm so excited. This will be X, Audiojack Session X. Hey everyone, happy Friday. Welcome to another fine episode of Imagination Sessions. And I have my lovely people with me here. David Tobin is right below me. He is the founder, creator of Audiojack. We have Mike Archer. I love that I can point. Mike Archer and Lindsay Rutledge right here. We have a special guest this episode, 3 that are part of the Ghost Finders. We have Megan, and we have Dan.
And Rob's already in the Matrix.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Lander, and I've known David Tobin for a very long time. We met working together. I was on a show called Legally Blonde, The Search for the Next Elle Woods.
We actually have Crystal Starr, who's a comic book creator. A lot of people know her from Lego Master, which I loved that show.
I work in TV and film. I recurred on a show on ABC called The Middle for 6 seasons, and then I was on a show with George Lopez called Lopez on TV Land. And then I do a lot of voiceover for video games like Saints Row and Final Fantasy.
Rob is actually in the Audiojack already.
Yes, he is already. He matrixed into the Audiojack.
Or whatever, but I mean, you're an author, you're a musician, a creator in a lot of spaces, and really excited that you're here to join us for this imagination session.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
We also have Bob Heskey, who did Afraid of Nothing. He also has this fantastic podcast called the Afraid of Nothing podcast. And we also have Nathan Withers, who does Buried Secrets Paranormal. We have wait, he disappeared now. He's gone.
Oh, Carol Ann!
He's back though.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yes, high five. Stay away from the light, Rob.
Light! Yes! Go to the light! Carol Ann!
Wow.
Carol Ann!
Hello, everyone. My name is Amel Figueroa. I'm an indie filmmaker. I enjoy it, love having fun. I was in the Hollywood game for a little bit, then decided to kind of just come back home and, give the indie world a try. I've produced over 15 projects, wrote and directed 2. My first one called The Quiet Ones, which stars genre vets like Reggie Bannister, Courtney Gaines, Bill Allen from Rad, if anybody remembers Rad.
Yes, of course.
I am the bass player for Corey Taylor's solo project. That's my main thing. And then I just did Morgan Rose's solo thing. I played bass on his new record, his solo debut, which was pretty dope. I can't believe he asked me to do that. It was like such an honor.
You want to explain a little bit before we get into anything else, like what Elizabeth is referencing?
Yes, so I have written a couple of novels. The first one was Sorcery for Beginners, which published in 2017. And the second one was Cryptozoology for Beginners.
I don't know.
Well, you don't interrupt tea time for the English, so.
No.
True. Audiojack is an audio-based movie. When you listen to it, it's audio-based. Think of like an old radio show in the same context, except there's no words and there's no dialogue. There's no dialogue, there's no words, sorry, and there's no music. It's hundreds of sounds that are edited together to tell a story for your imagination. And they're put together in a sonic fashion that will have an effect on your imagination and memory and allow them to converge and create a narrative. Because we all have an association to sound. That's just how it is. And there's no language barrier. My lovely joke is you take this, and if I break this glass in France, it doesn't go le break. It's the same sound. And that means there's no gender, language, or race barrier to contend with. We can all hear the sound and all connect to it. But the story that we come up with is completely our own. Because we never tell you what the story is behind any of them. Like some of these, it's just a one-word title. And that's it. And it's just, in a category. And it's whatever your imagination wants to do when you hear the sounds. So you're going to listen. We're going to pick one out, and you're going to close your eyes. You're going to hang out. You're going to listen to it. It's going to play once, and then it's going to play a second time. And then you can fill in the story, so to speak, because you hear it for the first time. You're like, what the hell is that? Like, what's going on? Okay, hearing all these things. Then you hear it a second time to kind of now take that and make it the narrative you want to be. This isn't guess what it is. This is use this as inspiration or a prompt to let you create something that you are just letting your imagination go. And there's a whole bunch of science and health and all sorts of other really neat things behind that, but we'll get into that stuff later. This is just about hanging out and coming up with something creative and closing your eyes and engaging with your imagination, not being on a screen, because our eyes will be closed for part of it at least. And that's really what it is. And it's in a mobile app. They're called Audiojacks, and the name of the company is Audiojack because I'm not creative and decided to name it after the product. So that's what it is. And there's a whole bunch of different ones in different categories. And so we're going to jump in the app. We're going to pick one and go from there. And then afterward, after it's played a second time, we get to go around and everyone shares what they came up with.
Or do you want me to go?
Yeah,
You want to go last? Or you want me to go?
You go.
You can
Elizabeth
do it.
go last.
All right, Elizabeth, you're going last.
Elizabeth goes last.
That was so awesome. And we actually do a form of this just with music for ritual and dream work. So cliff notes of what I experienced is I was.
They don't have to be cliff notes. Oh, yeah.
You want me to do it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. So I was like lying in a field of cattails right at dusk, and I could see the sun setting, and then I heard the road like kind of close to me. And so I started to just venture towards the woods that I saw towards the right. And I'm walking down, and then I hear the Grim howl, which is the black hound. And that to us is like one of our guardians and protectors, which is also so cool. They hid that in Harry Potter. Seemed ominous, but the Grim was actually someone who's like your guardian.
Students about, where do ideas come from and how we kind of tend to filter whatever kind of we're seeing this week. And there's been a lot of bug talk this week, a lot of fly talk. I saw a lot of graphics about flies. So for some reason, that's where my brain went. I was imagining this like world of like urban sci-fi noir world where there's a bunch of like fly cricket people wearing kind of human clothes, but having to go about these drudgery jobs. And there's this big wormhole in the sky, this like big open hole in the sky that is creating this kind of background sound every time somebody's outside. So I don't know. I kept picturing this dude who's like a 6 foot tall fly cricket person driving his car through this urban city. He passes an immigration type checkpoint where lots of weird bug hybrid creatures are standing in line to go up into this wormhole in the sky. He goes back to his house, which is like a cruddy, 1-bedroom apartment with lots of weird junk. And what sounded like potato chips, for some reason, I thought it was like a bag of fly wings, like Doritos, but with like fly wings instead of actual chips that he was eating.
I'm floating. I'm floating out of a giant hole in a giant shoe. And it's all covered in patterns of pretty flowers.
Eddie would like to jump in first. Would our guests like to give it a go?
I don't care. Yeah, I'll go.
All right.
It was called On Guard, which, immediately makes you think of a sword fight, and then you had all the sword fight sounds. So I just decided that it was an assassin, a woman, actually, by the way, who was by herself at a cabin. She was sitting on the porch watching it rain, watching it storm. One of the knights, was not happy about this and came up, and as we all heard, she killed him from afar with a bow and arrow. And after she did that, then some of his buddies that were up on the hill were like, "Oh, she's trifling. We've got to go deal with this." And so they all started coming down. They started coming down one by one. So the first one, if you remember, the horse came up, and she definitely killed that guy for sure. But she was able to hide his body, it sounded like, a little bit.
Yes. Does anyone out there have the exact same story as Matt?
That's freaking me
right?
out.
No.
Yeah, right.
And his mother and I are not claiming him. It's not our fault. It just happened somehow. We don't know.
All those fly strips you'd hang over my bed that had nothing to do with it when I was a kid.
Run up the stairs, and I'm hiding. I'm freaking out. I can't get out of this building. And I lock myself behind a door. And I feel like the knocking noises was like a ha ha ha. We know where you are. We've been watching you, and we found you. And all of a sudden they break the door down, and I black out. Next thing I know, I am suspended in the air, and I am surrounded in duct tape. And I don't know how or why I'm there. And that's kind of just where I left it. I'm just like hanging there, and I'm left there to die.
Wow. That's how it ends?
That's how I ended, just hanging, suspended in the air from the ceiling, wrapped in duct tape.
Oh my God.
There's nobody there to help me. I'm done.
Woo!
Whoa. That was
yeah.
intense.
Got some goosebumps here.
My hairs.
Right, yeah. Wow.
Cha-cha-cha.
I love it. Nice. That's cool. This was awesome. What a great way to start the weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mike and Lizzie, for coming out.
Awesome.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time and your minds. Thank you all. Thank you, David. Big round of applause for our guests.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, David.
Good job, David. I had a really good time. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like all like.
Great. Yeah, you're welcome back
Audiojacks,
anytime, man. This was wonderful.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see
All
you next
right.
week.
Stay
Yep.
safe.
Take
See
care.
you next
week.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe, y'all.